Okay, today I'm going to talk a little bit about the torque wrench here and how you set it and how it kind of works. And first of all, a torque wrench is basically a socket wrench, and its purpose is to make sure that you don't over tighten things. So the way that works is there's an internal spring system, and it will measure how much force you're applying to the torque wrench itself. And once you go to that specification that you've set, it'll click. And that's how you know that you're at that correct torque. So to start off, first off, down here at the handle, a lot of times there's a lock to keep it from moving. So, and this one, I'm going to turn it to the left. And then you'll notice here all of the torque ratings going up the barrel. And something to point out is if you look closely, where the line goes, for example, on 60, see how it drops down right there? So you don't want to crank this until it's covering 60. You want to crank it until it's at this bottom part of the line. So as an example, we'll go ahead and crank this up. And if you look down here at the bottom, there's these numbers. And so this is how you count to 10 as you twist it. And every revolution will bring you up to the next rating on here, from 20 to 30, 40 to 50. So right now, for example, we're at 0, and this one starts off at 10 foot-pounds. The only real way that I know that is after rotating this a full 10 times, it's now at the 20 mark, and that's also what the box said. But just to show you how this kind of works, we're at 0 right now. This is in foot-pounds. That would be, since it starts at 10, this would be 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and now you can see we're at the 20 mark. So you can see here where the 20 is, and the line that goes down, remember, it'll drop down, and that's how you know you're at the 20 mark. So as you keep going, now we're at 30. And see, this is where people might think they're setting it to 20 because you can still see 20. But remember, these lines go down. So right there, we're at this line that equals 30 foot-pounds. So we're going to actually go all the way up to about 90, which is kind of normal for lug nuts. And we'll tighten one down to show you what it looks like. So here's 40 foot-pounds, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, etc. Now we're at 60. And we'll just keep going with this. 70, 80, 90, right there. Okay. We'll go to 95. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's set at 95 foot-pounds. So you can see we're not quite up to 100, but we're past the 90, and we're on the number 5. Okay, now there is a reverse function, but you don't want to do that. You only want to tighten with a torque wrench. Never use it to break anything loose. So as I tighten this, you're going to hear it click, and that's going to let us know that we've gone far enough. However, just because you hear it click, that doesn't mean you can't continue to turn it. So it is possible for it to click and for you to keep pulling on it and to over tighten it. So as soon as you hear the click, you need to stop. Okay, see, that didn't have much of a turn to it, since these have already been torqued. As I pull up on it, okay, as soon as you hear the click, you know that you've met your torque spec. So once you're done with the torque wrench, it's very important that you zero it back out, because as it's twisted and compressing the spring inside, if you leave it like that over time, it'll lose its accuracy. So you want to very carefully wind it back down to 0. And one thing to mention is as you get closer to 0, be very careful not to overspin it, because that can break it as well. So once you get down to the very end of it, go real slow, and then you'll feel it where it won't go anymore and it won't click. So if you wind it back down to 0 or set it back to 0, as it's called, then that way it won't lose its accuracy.